a fat man is useless. In today's world, the way a man presents himself physically is more than just a reflection of his body. It becomes a statement of his discipline, his drive, and his ability to command respect. Society has created a certain image of what a strong, capable man should look like. A man who is overweight is often perceived as lacking in areas like discipline, self-control, and ambition, qualities that society holds in high regard for defining masculinity. These perceptions might seem harsh, but they reflect an underlying reality. Physical appearance is often the first thing people notice, and it plays a crucial role in how others assess our abilities, even if they don't know us personally. Men who carry excess weight are typically viewed as less capable of handling the pressures of life. They may be seen as more prone to laziness, less ambitious, and even less trustworthy, regardless of whether these assumptions are true. Society tends to associate a lean, strong physique with the idea of success, leadership, and control. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about what that physique represents: a man who has mastery over himself, his habits, and his life. Conversely, a man who neglects his body is often seen as neglecting his duties as a man. It sends a message that he's not willing or able to put in the work to better himself. The pressure to maintain a certain physical standard isn't just about how others see you. It's also deeply tied to how you see yourself. When a man is overweight, the social stigma can impact his confidence and self-esteem. He may feel inadequate in environments where strength and dominance are valued, such as in the workplace or even in social settings. This lack of confidence can create a vicious cycle where the negative perceptions of others reinforce the negative thoughts he already has about himself. But it's important to recognize that this isn't just about surface-level judgments. There's a deeper truth behind why society values physical fitness in men. A man who is fit signals that he is willing to take control of his life and endure hardship to achieve a better version of himself. He's sending a message that he's disciplined enough to put in the hard work required to maintain his health and physique. And this discipline extends beyond the gym. It's a trait that will manifest in every aspect of his life, from his career to his personal relationships. On the other hand, a man who allows himself to become overweight is often sending the opposite message, whether he intends to or not. He may not realize it, but his appearance can imply that he's unwilling to take control, that he's avoiding the discomfort necessary to improve, and that he's content with mediocrity. This perception can damage his ability to be taken seriously, to be respected, and to be seen as a leader. In a world where men are expected to lead and take responsibility, failing to manage one's physical health can be interpreted as failing to manage one's life. Ultimately, the way society views overweight men is a reflection of broader expectations for men in general. Men are expected to be providers, protectors, and leaders. To do this effectively, they need to be strong, not just mentally, but physically as well. If a man can't take care of his own body, how can he be trusted to take care of the people and responsibilities that depend on him? Being overweight doesn't just affect how society perceives a man. It has a profound impact on his mental and physical well-being. Carrying excess weight places immense stress on the body, leading to a host of health issues, ranging from heart disease and diabetes to joint problems and decreased mobility. Over time, the toll of this additional weight affects every aspect of life, limiting what a man can do physically and weakening his ability to function at his full potential. But the damage is not just physical. The psychological burden of being overweight can be just as debilitating, if not more. Physically, the most obvious impact of being overweight is a reduced ability to perform at peak levels. Activities that should be routine, such as climbing stairs, walking for long periods, or playing sports, become strenuous. This lack of mobility doesn't just limit a man in his personal life, but also in his professional one. In careers that demand physical endurance or even the appearance of vitality and strength, being overweight can be a major hindrance. Even in less physically demanding jobs, the energy drain that comes with excess weight can lead to decreased productivity, less focus, and higher fatigue. When your body is constantly working harder just to perform basic functions, it's difficult to put the necessary energy into excelling in other areas of life. But beyond the physical strain, the mental toll of being overweight can be even more significant. Many overweight men struggle with issues of self-worth, confidence, and depression. They may feel trapped in their bodies, ashamed of their appearance, and constantly aware of how others view them. This constant self-awareness can lead to social anxiety, where they avoid situations that might expose their weight to the judgment of others. This isolation not only affects their personal relationships, but also their professional opportunities, as confidence and charisma are often key components of success in many areas of life. The psychological cycle of shame and self-doubt can also make it harder to take the necessary steps to lose weight. When a man feels like he's already failed, when he's internalized the negative views society may have of him, it becomes increasingly difficult to find the motivation to change. The mental exhaustion from constantly battling one's self-image often leads to unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as overeating or avoiding physical activity altogether, which only worsens the problem. In essence, being overweight can lead to a downward spiral where both physical and mental health deteriorate simultaneously. One of the most dangerous aspects of this mental toll is the gradual erosion of self-discipline. When a man is overweight, it's often a sign that he has, at some point, lost control over his habits. He may have allowed poor dietary choices and a sedentary lifestyle to take root, and as his weight increases, so does his inability to break free from these patterns. This lack of control doesn't just apply to food and exercise, it often bleeds into other areas of life. A man who cannot control his own body may struggle to exert control in his professional life, his relationships, and his personal goals. And yet, despite these challenges, many men continue to overlook or downplay the importance of their physical health. They tell themselves that their weight doesn't matter, that their accomplishments and worth are based on their character or intellect. While those traits are undoubtedly important, the truth is that physical health is a fundamental building block of success. A man who is overweight is operating at a fraction of his potential. He might be successful in other areas, but he's doing so despite a massive handicap, one that could be eliminated with the right mindset and effort. The harsh reality is that being overweight diminishes a man's ability to fully engage with life. It holds him back from experiencing his physical and mental prime, weakens his resolve, and limits his ability to lead and inspire others. For many men, the first step in becoming the best version of themselves is taking control of their weight. It's about reclaiming their health, their confidence, and their discipline. Because in the end, excess weight isn't just a physical burden. It's a symbol of a life not lived to its fullest. And the longer a man carries that weight, the more he misses out on the opportunities to be stronger, faster, and more capable than he ever thought possible. At the core of every man's journey to self-improvement lies the foundation of willpower and discipline. These two traits are not optional. They are the pillars upon which every transformation is built. For a man who struggles with his weight, the road ahead may seem daunting, but without a firm grasp of these principles, any attempt at change is destined to fail. Overcoming excess weight is not just about physical exertion, it's a battle that begins in the mind. It's about mastering your impulses, controlling your desires, and committing to a vision of the man you want to become. Willpower is often described as the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to achieve long-term goals. In the context of weight loss and fitness, it's the force that stops a man from indulging in unhealthy foods or skipping workouts when he knows he shouldn't. It's that inner voice that reminds him of the bigger picture when the immediate satisfaction of comfort or laziness is calling. Without willpower, it's easy to slip into habits that keep a man stuck in a cycle of self-destruction, where instant gratification takes precedence over the more significant, lasting rewards of discipline. But willpower alone isn't enough. It's a short burst of energy, a surge of motivation that can get a man started on the right path. Discipline, on the other hand, is what sustains that path over the long haul. Discipline is the consistent, everyday action that takes place after the initial motivation fades. It's waking up early to exercise even when you're tired. It's choosing a healthier meal even when unhealthy options are right in front of you. Discipline doesn't rely on how you feel in the moment. It's a commitment to doing what's necessary, no matter what. For a man who's overweight, developing discipline is a non-negotiable part of his journey. Without it, he will never break free from the habits that have kept him in his current state. Being disciplined is about recognizing that change doesn't happen overnight. and that the road to self-mastery is long and filled with obstacles. But it's also about understanding that every choice, every action, is a step forward or a step back. The man who is disciplined knows that every small victory, every time he chooses the harder but better path, builds momentum toward the man he wants to be. The truth is, there is no shortcut to getting fit. There is no magic solution to shedding excess weight and transforming your body. It's about doing the work, day in and day out, even when it's hard, even when it's painful. And in that struggle, in that repeated choice to do what's hard, something incredible happens. A man develops a strength that goes far beyond the physical. He begins to understand that true power lies in control over oneself. When you master your body, you are also mastering your mind, because it's the mind that drives the body forward, that pushes through fatigue, hunger, and the temptation to quit. Many men fail to recognize just how intertwined their physical condition is with their mental toughness. A man who is overweight and out of shape may also be a man who lacks control over his daily life. He may struggle with organization, with time management, with setting and achieving goals. These are all areas that require discipline, and the failure to exert control in one area often signals a lack of control in others. But the reverse is also true. A man who takes control of his physical fitness often finds that this discipline spills over into other aspects of his life. He becomes more focused, more driven, and more capable of achieving success in his career, relationships, and personal pursuits. It's important to acknowledge that building willpower and discipline is not easy. It requires sacrifice and effort, two things that most people shy away from in today's culture of instant gratification. But that's exactly why so few men succeed in transforming themselves. They aren't willing to endure the discomfort that comes with growth. They avoid the pain, the struggle, the hard work, and as a result, they remain stuck in the same patterns, year after year. But the man who embraces this struggle, who understands that nothing worth having comes easy, is the man who will rise above. Because at the end of the day, discipline is about freedom. The man who is disciplined is free from the chains of his own impulses. He is free from the societal pressures that tell him to settle for mediocrity. He is free from the habits that once held him back. With discipline, a man doesn't just change his body, he changes his entire life. He becomes the kind of man who can conquer any challenge, not because it's easy, but because he's trained himself to rise above every obstacle in his path. In this sense, willpower and discipline are the ultimate tools of transformation. They are what separate the weak from the strong, the mediocre from the exceptional. The man who understands this and commits to building these traits will not only overcome his weight issues, he will become unstoppable in every area of his life. Leadership is a quality that every man aspires to in some capacity, whether it's in his career, his family, or his community. However, true leadership requires more than just intelligence or experience. It demands respect. And respect is something that, in many cases, is earned through action, through example, and through the way a man presents himself to the world. Physical fitness plays a surprisingly crucial role in this equation. A man who is physically fit commands attention, not just because of his appearance, but because of what his condition represents: strength, discipline, and the ability to endure. In any setting where leadership is required, people naturally gravitate toward those who project competence and control. A man who is in shape, who has taken care of his body, signals that he can handle responsibility, not just over himself, but over the people around him. This is why physical fitness is often seen as a direct reflection of a man's ability to lead. It shows that he is not only capable of managing his own life, but is also strong enough to guide and protect others. On the other hand, a man who is overweight may struggle to inspire that same level of confidence. His appearance can suggest that he lacks the discipline or the fortitude necessary to handle the pressures of leadership. It's important to recognize that leadership is not just about intellect or charisma, though those are essential qualities as well. True leadership is about being an example. It's about showing, through action, what it means to be responsible, dependable, and resilient. When a man is physically fit, he is not only showing that he can lead by example in terms of discipline and self-care, but he's also signaling that he has the energy, stamina, and endurance to take on challenges that others might shy away from. Whether in the workplace or at home, a man who is physically capable naturally becomes someone others look to for guidance and strength. Furthermore, there's a psychological component to this dynamic. A man who takes control of his body is someone who exudes confidence. That confidence is contagious. People are drawn to it and they trust it. They see in that man someone who is not afraid to tackle difficult tasks, someone who can push through discomfort and emerge victorious on the other side. This is the kind of leader people want to follow, someone who embodies the traits they wish to see in themselves. A man who is overweight, however, might struggle with self-confidence, and that insecurity can be sensed by others, making it harder for him to command the respect necessary for effective leadership. There is also a direct connection between physical fitness and mental sharpness. Numerous studies have shown that regular exercise improves cognitive function, reduces stress, and increases emotional resilience. These are all qualities that are essential for a good leader. A man who is fit is better equipped to handle the pressures of leadership, to make clear decisions under stress, and to maintain composure in difficult situations. His physical condition reflects his ability to remain in control, not just of his body, but of his emotions and his mind. This kind of control is critical when others are looking to him for direction in times of uncertainty. In contrast, a man who is out of shape may find that the physical and mental fatigue from carrying extra weight makes it harder to rise to the challenges of leadership. He might struggle with low energy, poor focus, and a lack of resilience, all of which are major obstacles when trying to lead others. A leader needs to be someone who can take on more than his fair share, someone who can carry the burden of responsibility while still pushing forward. When a man neglects his health, he is often unable to fully engage with the demands of leadership, whether those demands are physical, emotional, or psychological. There's also an element of respect tied to physical fitness in leadership. People respect those who can do what they themselves struggle to do. When a man has mastered his own body, it is a visible, undeniable achievement. It shows that he is capable of discipline, perseverance, and sacrifice, qualities that are essential in a leader. This respect extends beyond just the physical realm. It translates into how people view that man's overall character. They assume that someone who has mastered his physical condition likely has the strength of will to lead in other areas of life as well. Ultimately, physical fitness is a form of leadership in itself. It shows that a man has taken control of the most fundamental aspect of his existence, his own body. It demonstrates that he is willing to put in the work, to endure the discomfort, and to strive for excellence. And in doing so, he sets an example for others to follow. Whether it's in a business setting, among friends, or within a family, people are always looking for someone to lead, someone to show them the way. A man who is fit and strong has already proven that he can lead himself, and that's often the first step in leading others. In the end, a man's physical condition is not just about health or aesthetics. It's about capability. It's about showing that he is ready to take on the challenges of leadership, to be the person that others rely on when times get tough. A man who is overweight, who hasn't taken the time to master his own body, is often seen as lacking the same mastery over his life. And in a world that demands strong leaders, that lack of control can be the difference between commanding respect or being overlooked. A man's value is often gauged by the impact he has on the world around him, his ability to provide, to protect, to lead, and to be an example for others. While there are many components that contribute to this value, one of the most foundational is his physical health. Without health, all other aspects of a man's life are compromised. His ambitions, relationships, and even his capacity to enjoy life become limited by the constraints of a body that is not functioning at its peak. Physical health, then, becomes not just a personal matter but a key factor in how a man defines his value both to himself and to the world. A man who takes care of his health sends a clear message to those around him. He respects himself, and he is capable of managing the most basic yet most important responsibility, his own body. This respect for self is foundational, because a man who doesn't respect himself cannot expect to command respect from others. Physical health is a visible, undeniable marker of that self-respect. It's an outward reflection of inner discipline, control, and an understanding of priorities. When a man is fit and healthy, he demonstrates that he values his life and the opportunities he has. and that he is willing to do the work necessary to maintain that value. Conversely, when a man allows himself to become overweight, it often signals that he has, to some extent, lost control over this fundamental aspect of his life. Whether it's due to neglect, stress, or a lack of discipline, the result is the same: a body that is functioning at a lower capacity than it should. And when this happens, it's not just the body that suffers. The man's ability to perform in other areas of life begins to diminish. His energy levels drop, his focus wanes, and his ability to push through challenges becomes weaker. This erosion of physical health gradually undermines the very traits that define a man's value: his strength, his reliability, and his ability to lead and protect. Health is also directly linked to a man's ability to provide. Whether we acknowledge it or not, we live in a competitive world where success often goes to those who are able to outlast, outperform, and outwork others. Physical fitness plays a critical role in this dynamic. A man who is in good health is more productive, more focused, and has the endurance to push through long hours and difficult tasks. He has the stamina to go the extra mile, both physically and mentally. In contrast, a man who is overweight may find that his lack of energy or poor health holds him back, preventing him from reaching his full potential. The connection between physical fitness and professional success is not just anecdotal. It's a reality that many men experience firsthand. But beyond the practical aspects of productivity and endurance, health is also linked to the broader concept of legacy. Every man, whether consciously or not, is building a legacy through his actions, his achievements, and the way he lives his life. Part of that legacy is the example he sets for others, particularly for those who look up to him: his family, his colleagues, and his community. A man who takes care of his health is someone who is setting a strong example for others to follow. He shows that strength, resilience, and discipline are values worth cultivating, and that they are the foundation of a successful, meaningful life. On the other hand, a man who neglects his health may inadvertently be sending a message that it's acceptable to let standards slip, that mediocrity is acceptable, and that self-care is optional rather than essential. In the context of family, this becomes even more important. A father who is overweight and out of shape may struggle to be the kind of role model his children need. Children look to their fathers as examples of what it means to be strong, responsible, and capable. When a father neglects his health, he not only limits his ability to engage with his children physically, whether that's playing sports, going on adventures, or simply being active in their lives, but he also sets a poor example of what it means to take care of oneself. The father who is fit and healthy, however, provides a living example of discipline, resilience, and self-respect, qualities that will influence his children for the rest of their lives. Moreover, a man's physical health is closely tied to his mental health. The two are inextricably linked, and when one suffers, the other often does as well. A man who is overweight may experience higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even depression. The frustration of feeling trapped in a body that doesn't reflect the man he wants to be can create a mental burden that is hard to escape. This negative mental state, in turn, makes it even harder to break free from the habits that are causing the physical decline. It's a vicious cycle, where poor physical health leads to poor mental health, which in turn makes it harder to improve physical health. This cycle not only diminishes a man's quality of life, but also erodes his sense of self-worth, his understanding of his own value. Breaking free from this cycle requires a commitment to reclaiming health as a priority. It's about understanding that physical fitness is not just about aesthetics or vanity. It's about reclaiming the very qualities that make a man valuable in the first place. It's about being strong, capable, and reliable. It's about ensuring that you are operating at your highest potential, both for yourself and for the people who depend on you. And ultimately, it's about recognizing that health is a form of responsibility, a responsibility that every man has to himself and to those who look up to him. In short, a man's value is deeply intertwined with his physical health. It's a reflection of his discipline, his ability to lead, and his willingness to take responsibility for his own life. A man who is in control of his health is in control of his destiny. He is strong, capable, and ready to face whatever challenges come his way. A man who neglects his health, however, is not just diminishing his own value. He's limiting his ability to be the man he was meant to be. The journey from weakness to strength is one of the most profound transformations a man can undergo. It's not just about the physical changes, losing weight, building muscle, or improving endurance. It's about reshaping the very core of who you are as a person. A man who decides to overcome the limitations of his body and mind is a man who is ready to confront his weaknesses, take control of his life, and build himself into a stronger, more capable version of himself. This transformation is not only about health, it's about reclaiming power, dignity, and respect. Every man who is overweight, who feels trapped in his own body, has the potential to change. But the first step in that transformation is a decision to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility. Many men fail to reach their potential because they are stuck in a mindset of victimhood. They tell themselves that their circumstances are too difficult, that their genetics are against them, or that they simply don't have time to focus on their health. But the truth is, these are just stories we tell ourselves to justify inaction. Every man has the ability to change. It's simply a matter of will. The key to this transformation lies in embracing discomfort. Becoming a stronger man, both physically and mentally, requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. It means doing the things that are hard, that feel uncomfortable, but that you know are necessary for growth. Whether it's pushing yourself in the gym, resisting the urge to indulge in unhealthy food, or staying committed to your goals when motivation fades, the process of transformation is built on doing what's difficult. The man who embraces this discomfort is the man who will grow stronger. But the transformation from weak to strong is not just a physical one, it's a mental shift as well. A man who is overweight, who lacks control over his body, is often also struggling with feelings of inadequacy, doubt, and frustration. These mental barriers are just as real as the physical ones, and overcoming them requires a different kind of strength. It requires the ability to confront your own shortcomings, to be honest about where you've gone wrong, and to commit to making the changes necessary to become the man you want to be. This is a journey of self-discovery, where you begin to understand that the limits you once thought defined you were, in fact, self-imposed. As you begin to shed the physical weight, you also begin to shed the mental weight. The insecurities, the doubts, the negative self-talk, they all start to fade as you gain control over your body and your life. This newfound confidence is one of the most powerful aspects of the transformation. A man who has mastered his own body is a man who understands what he is capable of. He has proven to himself that he can overcome obstacles, that he can endure discomfort, and that he can create the life he wants through hard work and dedication. One of the most important lessons in this transformation is that strength is not just about physical power, it's about resilience. A strong man is not someone who never faces challenges. He is someone who faces them and pushes through anyway. In the gym, this might mean enduring the pain of a difficult workout, but in life, it means enduring the struggles that inevitably come your way, whether those are financial, emotional, or relational. A man who has developed physical and mental resilience is someone who can handle adversity without breaking. He becomes a pillar of strength for those around him, someone who others look to for guidance and support. This transformation also has a profound impact on how a man views himself and his role in the world. As he becomes stronger, both physically and mentally, he starts to see himself as a leader. He becomes someone who can inspire others, not just through words, but through action. The man who once struggled with his weight and his confidence is now an example of what it means to take control of one's life. He shows others that change is possible, that strength is attainable, and that the only limits are the ones you place on yourself. But this journey is not without its challenges. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when the old habits seem to creep back in. This is where the real test of strength lies, not in the ability to avoid failure, but in the ability to keep going after you've failed. Every man who transforms himself must confront the reality that progress is not always linear. There will be days when it feels like you're not moving forward, when the weight of your old self seems too heavy to lift. But the man who is truly strong is the one who doesn't quit. He understands that every setback is just another opportunity to prove his resilience, to get back up and keep fighting. At the end of this journey, the man who has transformed himself from weak to strong is no longer the same person. He has not only changed his body, he has changed his mind, his spirit, and his outlook on life. He has become a man who understands the value of hard work, discipline, and perseverance. He is no longer defined by the limitations he once accepted. Instead, he is defined by his ability to overcome them. This is the ultimate transformation, not just of the body, but of the entire being. In the end, the transformation from a weak man to a strong one is about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the master of your own destiny. It's about understanding that strength is something you build day by day through consistent effort and determination. And once you've made that transformation, you will carry that strength with you for the rest of your life. You will be the man who others look to for inspiration, the man who commands respect, and the man who has proven, through action, that true strength comes from within.